It's a 2019 Subaru Crosstrek base model. I'll be going over some of the delivery options on this vehicle, so you have a good idea. If I was not able to get to you right away, at least you can go over the car on this video. So I just want to start off on the front, showing you on this base model, you do have the halogen headlights. This is the low beam, high beam, and your turn signal. This particular model does not have fog lights, but if you look in here, you do have the front license plate holder, so you could purchase that in our parts department. In the very front here, you also have a little window here. This is for the tow hook location. There's also one in the back, which I'll show you the tow hook in a little bit once we get to the trunk. As we come up here, this particular model does not have eyesight. We're gonna come over to the front of the vehicle here, and I'm gonna go ahead and pop the hood for you. Now the hood latch is underneath the dash here. There's a little location that shows the hood. We'll pull that open. Go right back up to the front of the vehicle. Now on the front of the vehicle, we do have, we're a secondary latch control, so if you accidentally pull on that and you're driving, it's not gonna actually release itself, but there is a release at the bottom here. Once you pull that release, lift up, there is a prop rod, has an arrow for you to install that. Now as we look in here, as a consumer, the only thing you're looking at are items in yellow. So we're looking at the dipstick here to check your engine oil level. This is your engine oil fill. You've got your brake fluid back here, and you also have your windshield wiper fluid and coolant. So the things in yellow is what you're looking for. Batteries easily accessible, and your engine air filter is accessible here too. So very easy, nothing to be confused by. Go ahead and close this guy. So now I go ahead and take you right back inside to the door. We're gonna open up the fuel door here. That's located on the driver's side. The driver's side here, you do have the fuel pool. This will be pulled up here, and your door is on the passenger side. Pull the door open. You're gonna fill up, pull this guy, set it on the actual fuel door. And once you're done fueling, you'll wanna make sure that this fuel cap is screwed in. You at least get one click on it. That one click is gonna prevent you from having a check engine light. That does come up if you don't put more than at least one click on it. And we're gonna go ahead and go right to the trunk here. From the trunk itself, there is a rubber push button under here. So we're going to push that bad boy. As you can see here, there's the backup camera, which is standard on all of the Subaru Crosstreks. Go ahead and lift this guy up. Now as we look in here, there is the cargo space, and underneath here is your spare tire. This is full diameter, but not full width, but that does allow you to, if you're in the middle of nowhere, to change your tire and get to the nearest place to get your tire fixed or replaced. You got your jack in here, you got your lug nut tool. You also have a screwdriver in here with a flat head and a star. So you can use that to open up the little door like I showed you in the very front there. There is a little door location here on the back. So you would pop that open. And if you pop that open, that is going to allow you to use this tow hook. So this tow hook will be in the back of the vehicle or the front of the vehicle if you need it to be pulled out of somewhere or pull someone out of a, say a situation where they're stuck. Put that right back in place. We're going to go ahead and walk towards the front of the vehicle. So in here you do have the controls for the car. You have the window controls. This will lock the windows, drop the rear windows, drop the front, and actually raise them up in an auto mode. This is to lock and unlock your car. And this is for your mirrors. So if you swing it to the left, you can joystick it up and down, in and out, depending on your view and your seating position. Now you do have your handle here, so that'll basically open the door. Lock button if you want to manually open it. And go ahead and go inside. So foot on the brake, and we'll get this bad boy started. We're going to look at some of the controls in here. You do have the dimming control for the gauges. So that dimming control for the gauges is right now set at the highest control. So we can adjust that as needed in the nighttime. So we go down to the lowest illumination all the way up to the highest. Now if you put it to that point, that is above and beyond the highest illumination. We're going to look at this button here. This is the traction control button. This button will allow you to, in a specific situation, if you get stuck, you can turn that off. And once you press that button, it will display in the gauge cluster up here. So it'll be off to the right and it shows that it's off. Come right back down here. There's no other items for this particular model. And if you look underneath here, we do have a steering wheel control, so you can actually do telescopic controls, or you can go up and down depending on your seating position again. And once you get it to the spot you want, you'll pull back up on this lever and it'll lock in place. We're going to go to the seating position area and show you how these work. Now this will actually, lever will pull to bring the seat up and forward so slightly, and you can adjust that as needed. Now if you want it lower, you'll just press down on the lever. And then you also have the reclinability, which is kind of the triangle here. This will pull so that way you can pull the seat forward. That's the back of it back. So just depending on your seating position again. We're going to go right back over here to the dash again, and we're going to show you just a couple more things. This trip button will set up in the center there, and this will actually go between trip A and trip B, depending on if you want to see how far you've gone. You can switch it back and forth, and say you want to reset it, you'll just hold the button down. So we're going to go ahead and go into the lighting functions. You do have your lights here. This will be your parking lights on, and this will be your headlights on the whole time. You can use that in any mode. Once you turn the vehicle off, it will shut the lights off after 30 seconds, and that all depends on how long you set it in the center information display. This is your turn signals also, so all the way down is left, all the way up is right, just a standard setting. Now on here you do have Bluetooth controls, you do have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and this is all controlled volume for, say, your AM, FM controls. So you can actually switch through source, which would be your AM, FM, or Bluetooth controls, whatever you have set into the media. You can switch through stations with these two arrows, volumes, source, and info is going to show, the info button here will show up in the top display. So once you press this button, it'll change through estimated time that we've been sitting in the car, average mile per gallon on B, on trip B, and then how long you have until the car is actually empty. So in this particular time, we have 120 miles until we're empty in this vehicle. The information display up here does show the outside temperature and the time of day. And we go back down here, we do have the settings for the phone. So if you do have your phone Bluetooth or through the Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, you can answer the phone call or hang it up from here. And this is also used for the OK Google function or the Hey Siri function from this particular button. Horn is simple, it's right here, easily accessible. And let's go ahead and start on the other side. So we're going to go ahead and look at this particular side. This is the cruise control. So on the cruise control settings, you do have where you need to set the cruise control. It kind of presets it, and then you'll have to set your specific speed by holding down the set. And if you wanted to, once you get it to your speed and you want to accelerate, you'll push up to the specific speed needed or down to deaccelerate. Now if you want to cancel, you can hit the cancel button. You can also touch the brake pedal and that'll cancel it, but have it in a preset mode. As we look over here, we do have the windshield wipers. So the windshield wiper controls, once you pull down once on that wiper, you can intermittently control how fast or slow the wipers actually go on. Once you press it down the second time, that'll do a medium speed, and the third time down will do a high speed. Now, if you want windshield washer fluid at the front, you'll pull the whole stock towards you, and that'll release the fluid and wipe the windshield down. This knob on the end will actually twist, so if you wanted to twist this up, that'll be the windshield wiper at the back of the windshield there. There's two settings there, intermittent and there's constant on. Now if you wanted the wiper fluid to be pushed from the front reservoir to the back, which it does, you'll twist this and hold it. Sometimes takes up to 30 seconds, just depends on if the fluid is evaporated in the line, and that'll get your fluid in the back, so if you need to clean off the back windshield. These vents here, all four vents do have a open and close option. So if you wanted to close these center vents, you'll pull down on this and that'll close it up, or you push it back up and it'll open it. So all four have that same similar option to open and close it. We'll look at the center information display. There is a home button on here that'll get you into different options. If you wanted to set up your specific phone, you can. Simple by touching the phone option here, going into your settings, into your Bluetooth, and then adding the device. Very easy and simple function. We'll go ahead and go down here on the display, go into the air conditioning controls. So air conditioning controls where you want the air to actually go. So we can move just at the head, we can go the head and feet, just at the feet. So this button here displays where you want the air at. Middle button here displays the fan speed control. And the button in the center will basically have recirculating air or not. So with the button off, the light off, that's fresh air from outside. So if you do get into a dust storm or there's a car that has a very bad smell in front of you, just hit the button, that'll recirculate the air in your car. The last toggle button here is for the air conditioning temperature. So if you toggle the orange button there to whatever temperature you want, so we're gonna want cold because it is 106 degrees outside. You wanna make sure the air conditioning light is on. That means the AC is actually on. If you're off, you're not gonna get any air conditioning, you're gonna get the fresh air from outside. One of the last things you have on this gauge display is your hazard lights or flashing hazard lights there. Once you press that, they'll flash. So if you're on the side of the road, people know that you are pulled over with something wrong. Down here is your shift knob, foot on the brake. There is a button on the very front which you need to pull on to get the car into specific modes. Now this does, in reverse, have the backup camera. So with your backup camera here is pretty darn clear. And you do have the lines that turn to show which way your wheels are turning. And as you can see, there is a crosshair there. It's a red crosshair. If you're backing into your garage or carport to a wall, you want to make sure you don't go past that crosshair. That'll allow you to open up your lift gate. I'll go ahead and put this car and show you in drive. You do have a drive mode and a low mode here. So simple in the low mode. Low mode is going to be mostly for low traction controls or if you're in snow or mud. That's the only reason you would put that in the low mode. It's going to be a higher RPM usage. If you look down here, we also have the X mode button. So X mode button is a simple press of the button. It's going to give you an alert, and it also displays some icons on the center display up here at the very top where the 106 degrees is at. Now with that function, it's going to be a low speed capability. So if you are at the, say at the top of a hill and you're coming down, it's steep, you'll want to press that button, and what that will do is allow you to come down that hill very easy. It's not going to slip. So it's going to be using the all-wheel drive system, the engine, the transmission, the brakes, everything to get you down a slippery hill very easy. And once you get past 23 miles per hour, it will automatically turn off. We also have a couple more things in here. In the center console, you do have a 12 volt. And they're also, in this base model, has one USB and an auxiliary port. The one USB is going to be what you're going to connect to when you need to connect for your Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. And you do need to be connected in this vehicle to use those specific functions. And that'll be it for this particular car.